Hello. Yeah, we have another very interesting question. And this time we have question under probability. That is, probability mathematics of chance. That's the mathematics of chance. All right. So the problem reads, a problem in mathematics is given to three students, P, Q, and R. The three students are represented with letter P, Q, and R, whose chances of solving it. Okay, we are given the chances of solving the problem as 1/2, 3/4, 1/4, respectively. So what is the probability that the problem will be solved? So we want to find out the probability that the problem will be solved. Now, we know that probability of any event, okay, of any event occurring, or the probability of any event, or okay, is always taken to be values from is always measures to be value from 0 to 1, because the values of probability lies between 0 and 1. So which means when an event happen, the probability that an event will happen will be what? 1. While the probability that an event will not happen will be 0. So which means the probability that an event will happen plus the probability that an event will not happen will be equals to 1. So when we calculate the probability of occurrence of an event, which is now when we calculate the probability of occurrence of an event, okay, that would be probability of success because the event occur. But the probability of non-occurrence of an event, okay, the event, we expect the event to happen, but the event did not happen. Okay, that would be probability of failure. So we need to first set up the probability equation. All right, that's probability of success. Okay, in this case, we have probability of success plus probability of failure. That is equals to 1. Now, in most cases, we use P to represent success and we use Q to represent failure. So which means, we now probability of success is P, while probability of failure is what? Q, and that is equals to 1. Don't forget, the value of probability lies between 0 and 1. All right, so now we are given the chances of solving the problem by each student to be 1/2, 3/4, then 1/4, respectively. So now for the first student, so probability that we're going to calculate, now we know that from here, if I want to calculate probability of failure, that will be 1 negative probability of success. All right, so the probability that P fails to solve would be 1 minus 1/2, which would be 1/2. Then we also would calculate the probability, okay, the probability that Q fails to solve, and that will be 1 negative, this is Q, 1 negative 3/4, and that will be 1/4. All right. Then for R, we again calculate the probability that R, okay, failed to solve. The probability that R failed to solve. Remember, success. We subtract success from 1 to get failure. Am I right? So that's what we're doing here. And that is what we have here. Q equals to, 1 negative P. So in this case, probability that R fails to solve, that will be 1 negative 1/4. And that will be 3/4. We have 3/4. Now, so in this case, having find out the probability of failure for each of the students, okay, and because the event is an independent event, the event is independent because now two events are said to be independent if the chance of the first event occurring does not affect the probability of the second event occurring. That's independent event. But it will be dependent when the chance of the first event occurring, affects the probability of occurrence of the second event. That's in the case of, mutually exclusive and the rest. Okay. All right. So we have probability that P fails to solve is this, and probability that Q fails to solve. And then we have probability that R fails to solve. So since the events are since the events are independent, since the events are independent, all right, so the probability independent, all right, so the probability, so we have that the probability that all of them, all three students, okay, all three students fail to solve. That would then multiply all of this. So we have 1/2 multiplied by 1/4, okay, multiplied by 3/4, okay. So we have 3/4. All right, so when we multiply everything, then we're going to have 3 out of, this is 16, and this will be what? 32. That is 16 times 2, that's 32. All right, so this is the probability that all three students, okay, fail to solve. Now, we want to find out, remember, the question reads, what is the probability that the problem will be solved? So, probability that the problem will be solved. Remember, we have here probability of success plus probability of failure equals to 1. All right, now we got probability of failure for each one of them. Now, because the events are independent, so we multiply everything, we multiply all the probabilities to get 3 out of 32. Now we want to find the probability that the problem will be solved. So which means this time it's going to be, so this is probability of success, and we know that probability of success will be 1 negative what? Probability of failure. So this is probability of failure. So this represents failure, probability of failure. What we are looking for is what? Probability of success. So that will be P will be equals to 1 negative 3 out of 32. And then the probability that the problem will be solved will now be 32, okay, minus 3 out of what? 32. So 32 negative 33, that will be 29. Okay, that will be 29. Okay, that will be 29 out of what? 32. Therefore, the probability that, okay, that the problem will be solved, that the problem will be solved is equals 29 out of 32. And that is the answer to the question. Remember, the noblest pleasure is the joy of understanding. I'll see you next time. Thank you.